Hello class, today we're going to do a quick little review going over finding percents of numbers. So this is part of your chapter 3 review right here, so this is a little video just to help you out. So when we're finding percents of numbers, we need to think about it like how much something is filled up. So let's think about it, for example, if we had a glass. Let's say this glass has 10 milliliters of water in it there. That's probably not accurate, but we're just going to assume because I wanted a nice round number. So if this glass had up to here filled up with water in it, and we would want to find how much this glass is full right here. And to find it as a percent, we're basically finding the percentage or the part of the glass that is filled up. So say this right here was up to 3 milliliters in water. 3 milliliters in water. So this as a percent, well, first as a fraction, we could write this as there's 3 milliliters filled up. So as a fraction, we could write 3 out of, and there's 10 total milliliters here. So we have 3 out of 10 here. Let's remember, a percent is something that is compared to 100. It's a ratio where the first number is compared to 100. So there's a couple of ways we could look at this here. We could think of this as either 3 over 100. We could also think of it as the fraction 30 over 100. These are equivalent fractions right here. All I did was multiply the top and the bottom by 10 there. So now this is written in percent form here, where we have a ratio where the first number is compared to 100. So this as a percent would obviously be 30%. Now, of course, we didn't have to do that step there, right? We could have done something different. We could have done 3 divided by 10. And 3 divided by 10 would have given us a 0.3, which is, of course, 30%. So a couple of different ways we could go through that one there, right? But we want to think of a percent as the part of a whole, right? It's a part of a whole. So we said it's a number that's compared to 100, right? So if I draw a line right here and we say that this has a distance of 100 units, or just call it 100 right there, then we want to compare another line to it here. So say I have this line right here, and this line is 50. So I have one line that's 100 and one line that's 50. So I probably should have done that in black. Let me relight that. So if we want to compare the percentages of this number, we want to find out what percentage is this blue line of the red line, we have to compare these two numbers here. So if we have 50 and 100, then we could write this as two ways. We could say this is 50 out of 100. And as a fraction, we could write this as 50 over 100. And again, what are we looking at? Why is this 50%, which is eventually what 50 over 100 is going to be? Well, let's look at our lines, right? Well, this line takes up exactly half of this other line. So it makes sense that it would be 50% because 50% is our percentage form to represent a half. Now, of course, if this number wasn't 100, it was just a little different here. Let's say this number was 50 and this line was 25. It would be the same thing, right? This blue line would still be worth half of this red line here. And we could set it up the same way. We could set it up as 25 out of 50, or 25 over 50, which as a decimal would of course be 0.5. And then we know to convert that, we just need to multiply by 100 or move our decimal 2 spaces to the right to get us 50% here. So this one would be 50%. All right, so now let's get into the actual what we'll be doing with these problems here. So how are we going to do them? Well, we know first we could set up long division or multiplication, right? If we want to find out percentages of something. We could set up equal proportions and ratios, and we're going to get to that more in the future. But for long division, right, if we want to find 16 out of 50 as a percent, then we could, of course, write 16 over 50, which would be equal to either 32 over 100 or 0.32%. Or sorry, 0.32, which is equal to 32%. So, of course, we could set up division or multiplication. We can go on that. We could also set up equal proportions and ratios, which I won't get into much now, but we will get into on another video here. And we could also set up our triangle, right? So remember our triangle here. So we have 3 parts in it. We have the part, the percent, and the whole. I believe, right? Yeah, part, the percent, and the whole. So when you have your part and your percent, you're dividing. Your part and your whole, you're dividing. And when you have your percent and your whole, you're going to be doing some multiplication. So what's that mean? It means when you have a small number and a percent sign, you divide the small number by the percent sign. If you have a small number and a large number, you divide the small number by the large number. And if you have a percent sign and the large number, then you're going to multiply those two values together to get your answer. So let's do a little practice here. Let's find 10% of 25. So 10% of 25, I'm going to use the triangle method on this. So we have a part, a percent, and a whole. Obviously, since this 10 has a percent on it, it is clearly a percent here. So I have a 10% or a 0.10. And then I also have a 25, so 10% of 25. So what is that? Well, the 25 is the whole. Here's the larger number. So I have a percent and a whole. So percent and a whole means multiplication. So it'd be 0.10 times 25, which would of course be 2.5. So it is 10% of 25, it would be 2.5. Now for the next one, what percent is 80 out of 250? Well, I have no percents, right? So that means I have a part and a whole. So that means my percent is going to be equal to my part divided by my whole, or 80 divided by 250. Could also, of course, be written by the fraction 80 over 250, which would give us, after division here, 0.32, which would, of course, be 32%. Alrighty, so that was a quick little review for us here. Go ahead and try those problems. Good luck, everybody.